So the other day I put out a post asking the Project Sekai community for their unpopular opinions about the game. Could have been about anything, such as the units, the characters, card arts, whatnot. Surprisingly, I've got a decent amount of traction. I got a lot of feedback and interesting comments. Some were extremely out there, but interesting nonetheless. I thought I'd make a video highlighting the ones that stuck out to me and give everyone's opinion a spotlight and discuss my own personal thoughts on them, you know? Though, before we begin, I'd like to keep everything civil, as the point of this video is, once again, unpopular opinions. Let's show some respect, no matter how crazy the take may be or how strange you may see someone's thoughts. I don't endorse any witch hunting, nor do I endorse any bullying. Let's keep this a positive environment here. We all know how the Sekai community can be. Shit's like a cesspool of toxicity, so let's set a good example here. Alrighty, without any further ado, let's cover some weird fucking opinions, why don't we? The first comment we're going to be taking a look at here is from the Boxman, who's actually someone who frequents my streams. Much love. Can I punch my camera? Why did I do that? Boxman here says, most Kanade focus events just turn into Mafuyu focus events, which I actually would have to disagree with, really. Call it bias, sure, because Kanade is my favorite, but I just don't think that's true. Out of the 4 Kanade focus events we have so far, I think only one of them is really Mafuyu-centric, and that would be Amicable Discord, and that's like the culmination of everything Kanade has been trying to do since the main story, which, let me remind you, the main story was kind of focused about Mafuyu to begin with. Carnation Recollection, Someday from the Depths of Despair, and that tone played on that day don't really have anything to do with Mafuyu. I mean, sure, Someday from the Depths of Despair is a flashback detailing how Kanade met Mafuyu, and her, like, beginning of the depression when her dad took the big nap, but it's not really Mafuyu focused. It's still Kanade centric. It's still Kanade's struggle. Don't worry, Kanade, I'll get you acquitted. You're 3 for 4 on having events that are focused on you. Don't listen to people. It's just factually not true. It's like a 25% loss rate. We have a comment here from Rui Superfan saying, Loveka cover isn't terrible. In fact, it's probably one of their best. Meiko does not sound weird. She sounds amazing. She sounds cool, and I like that they were trying to be unique with this cover, and it sucks that something like this will never happen again because people don't know what creativity and epic stuff is. I'd have to disagree on that. As a matter of fact, I actually listened to the song on stream for the first time in its entirety. Needless to say, I didn't really have the greatest reaction to it. Overlaying Meiko's voice over Flower's vocals doesn't really bode well for this song. It also doesn't really help that Meiko's tuning is already kind of shit in Sekai, so when you have that mixed in with this weird decision they decided to do here, it just kind of feels wrong, really. Power to you if you like the song though, like, no shame at all. If you like what you like, and that, you can't really take that away from you, really. We have Kazo Guy coming out with a bold statement over here. Project Sekai characters shouldn't be hated. Huh. Sure, you can have an opinion, but these characters have been designed to be liked, and if you're mad over a single character flaw, example Shiho, then you're an idiot. Everyone has flaws, then they can work on them. You can like a character, but going out of your way to spread hate about them is honestly annoying. Honestly, I don't know how people can even hate them. Well, that's the thing. They're gacha characters at the end of the day. They're all designed to be likable in some regard. From the perspective of a business standpoint, Kalapao and Sega have a lot to gain out of making the characters likable, because likable characters mean you're gonna pull for them. That makes them money. That's just how it is. And ultimately, at the end of the day, with a cast as large as Project Sekai's, you're bound to have a few characters that you just don't really care for, or even just don't even like. There's so many people that don't like Emu because she's so high energy, or Shiho because of how she was portrayed in the main story. But like, that's alright if you don't like a character. You're not supposed to like them all. You can like who you like, and the favorites that you have, they stick with you. The ones that you don't like, you just don't really have to engage with, you know? I understand that every character is special to somebody. That's kind of the appeal of Project Sekai, really. But to say that you can't enjoy a character, or even just dislike a character, it feels a little shallow, to be real. So this one right here has 2 different opinions stated, and I'm going to cover both of them. They're both a little... So I'm Not Lay here says, Kohane is toxic, and the reason why Revival My Dream got cancelled was super stupid. Okay, let's approach this reasonably. Starting with the first half of that message, Kohane is toxic. No they aren't. No they aren't. I even left a comment there asking the person's thought process for toxic Kohane, and they never responded, so I'm just gonna have to kind of figure out their thinking here. Huh? If anything, they're probably thinking of the fact that On feels like Kohane is going to outgrow her, and that she's afraid that Kohane is going to want a better partner once she inevitably does outgrow her. Like, is it not normal for friends to have insecurities sometimes? That they feel like they aren't the greatest for their friends? Is that what makes that toxic? Because that's not toxic. Have you had a friend? Actually, that's mean. I think all friendships have their hiccups every now and again. They all have their ups and downs. I think An feeling insecure about her role in the friendship doesn't make a potential ship between the two toxic in the slightest. That just doesn't really make any sense. I'll have to hardest agree on this opinion here. As for the other half of the comment, the reason why Revival My Dream got cancelled was super stupid. For those who don't know, Revival My Dream was a Wonderland Showtime event that didn't get localized into English, as some of the cards in the stage play the troupe were putting on had very strange choices that came off to many as cultural appropriation. Now, truthfully, I feel like I don't know much about the subject to make an accurate and fair opinion on this. I am not an indigenous person myself, nor do I know the intricacies of said event to know for certain if it really is a reference to Princess Momonoke or not. However, regardless of intention, whether the play was actually based on Princess Momonoke, as many people think, or the struggles of indigenous people, if said indigenous people were offended, that's all that really needs to be said, right? I don't think it was a bad move to not localize this event, as ultimately, the Western audiences differ from the Japanese ones. That's just how it is. I had to disagree with both halves of this comment. Touchy subject. Let's move on to another one. Socks Sekai here says, I hate Tsukasa's voice. He ruins almost every song he's in. Sorry, Kasa fans. I love Hirose Daisuke, but his voice just doesn't fit many songs. Everyone is raving about Tsukasa and Neo, but he just absolutely ruined it. His growl in Cyberpunk Dead Boy that everyone goes crazy over is just an annoying scream. Tsukasa's funny, well written, and I actually kin his character, but oh my god, he sounds like a dying vacuum choking on a rat. When I first read this comment, I was like, my very first impression was, damn, this is on some real hater shit. In many aspects, I'll have to agree with this message, because Tsukasa's voice has a very commanding presence. It's very distinctive. It's very draws the eye, or I guess in this case the ear, but you get what I'm saying, right? It fits the character to a T. It's perfect for him, but it can be kind of conflicting with a lot of different voices and the other cast of characters, really. And let it be known, I'll put it out here on paper. I actually like Tsukasa as well. He's one of my favorites. I'd agree, though. Here we have a comment from NSK1. Wow, what the fuck was that? NSK1. Okay, maybe it's not that hard to say. Maybe I just suck at talking. NSK1 says, Enna's Colorfest card was so pretty, but it was boring and basic for a color festival. While I'd agree for the most part, it's not as colorful or vibrant as the other Colorfest cards. It certainly has a lot of meaning behind it. A little bit ago, I saw a really good video analyzing the Colorfest Mizuki and Colorfest Enna cards, and I'm just gonna, instead of explaining why it's a good card, I'm just gonna link that one to the description of this video. Yeah, shout out to Fructose Tolerant. Watch that video after you're done with this one. You made a good video, Fructose. I don't know what content you upload, but you did a good job with this one, so people watch that one after this one. Here we have a really interesting one that I actually really like. Here from Tsukasa. Ruby Casa is more overhated than it is overrated now, and the shippers aren't even that toxic anymore. I don't understand why people still treat them like the worst beings to roam this earth. Let it be stated that I am not a Rui Casa fan in the slightest, but I would actually have to agree. Don't get me wrong, not all Rui Casa fans are like this, but I feel Rui Casa falls in line with the token Fujoshi bait. I feel like the most Fujoshi ships end up kind of falling into an archetype. Said archetype being between the sly, the cunning, the quiet one, and the boisterous, loud, and full of personality one, you know? Examples of this yaoi theory, as I'm dubbing it, would probably be like Nagito and Hajime, Akechi and Joker, Edgeworth and Phoenix, right? And Majima and Kiryu, and you may think Majima's the loud one, but I think he'd actually be the sly and cunning one, while Kiryu's the loud one, usually by his tendency to settle things by his fist. But I feel due to the nature of this yaoi theory, with Rui falling into the sly and cunning, and Tsukasa falling into the boisterous one, it draws in that crowd of loudmouths. No offense. Because of the yaoi theory, people get these vibes upon association with the average Rui Casa fan, which, like, not all of them are the toxic, dox your address variant of the stands. People see the trope and associate the toxic Fujoshis to the community, or they see prior fan behavior from said toxic stands and, like, associate all Rui Casa stands as much. I, myself, in all honesty, have never even associated with a Rui Casa stand. They still end up as the butt of a joke to me. It's like a stigma that needs to get shaken off. So yeah, Rui and Tsukasa stands, keep fighting the good fight. I do believe you guys are overhated. Another comment here from I Hate Math 9261. Genuinely don't get the hype with trans-masked Mafuyu. Like, I get that for a lot of people's headcanon, and I completely understand, but I feel like it's shoved down my throat a lot, and there are some people who are really serious about it. Like people using the villain cover as proof. I don't know, to me it just feels off that people have to resort to these kinds of, what to me feels like superficial evidence to claim a fictional character is trans-masked, and to fight like their life depends on it because of the read more. I forgot to hit the read more. I included a response here from Ava Arte saying, I've noticed it getting really popular too, and as a trans-masked person, I kinda don't like it. Like, I don't see it at all. I included this comment because I myself am a cis dude. In truth, I don't really see it myself, but that doesn't mean just because I don't see it doesn't mean it doesn't hold any merit. After all, it is just still a headcanon. It doesn't change the fact that trans people can see themselves in Mafuyu's shoes, you know? I feel like a lot of the characters in Sekai were designed to be imprinted upon for the player to just like see themselves into, so I don't really blame trans people for seeing Mafuyu's story as an extension of themselves. Like, there's a reason that the headcanon is popular. It's because Mafuyu represses so much about herself in front of her parents, it can be really sort of seen as an allegory for transgender people. Even if, again, it wasn't really intended to be so. So like, when I see people who are parading around trans-masked Mafuyu, like even though it's not my personal cup of tea, and I don't really see it that well, I understand why someone would, and why it would mean a lot to people. You know, that's just how headcanoning works. And for the final opinion of this video, we have one from Oomph. Kanade, Tenma, Aoyagi, etc. headcanons, depending on how they are interpreted, are a disservice to Kanade's character. Agreed. Yep, I would agree with that. I think the proper way to handle Kanade found family headcanons is to make sure that the found family in question aren't being used as a replacement for her, like, her actual family. Your mom dying and your dad being in a coma, like, that's pretty sad. But that doesn't mean they should be replaced, you know, because Kanade's dad is still alive. I see the found family trope as a source of comfort, not a source of replacement for real family. Because when the found family in mind has been established, then you're undermining what Kanade is trying to move forward with her life in. Because when the found family in mind acts as a replacement for the weight of her real parents' situations, it undermines the grief and depression she faces as a result, the same grief she's trying to overcome. Kanade found family headcanons and fics in general just kind of have to be careful with how they handle Kanade, really, because then if you don't, then you fucked up. Why, thank you very much, Koisakis, for your excellent opinion. Alright, that'll be all for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Do you agree with any of these opinions or my own? If you want me to do another one of these, feel free to leave your own unpopular opinions in the comments below. If you were entertained or just happened to kill some of your time, feel free to leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, outro, roll out!
Let's get some pussy tonight!
Hey. Have a good night.